there, Sarah.
Hey, so what's that mug?
Yes, so I went a little nostalgic today. This is a mug that somebody decorated for me when I moved up to Quebec. So you can actually see they drew Quebec up there and they drew Florida as well because they wrote friends forever, never apart, maybe in distance, but never at heart.
What? That is adorable.
So cute. And she made it for me when I moved up here to Montreal. And so I've kept it with me. It's slowly fading as the years go by, so I don't use it that often. But I thought I'd bring it out today.
That is very nostalgic and very sweet. What a nice friend. And actually mine goes with friendship too, and it's because you were talking about the last episode. You talked about how at your sister-in-law and I think it's your brother-in-law's wedding, they gave cups and mugs as a gift, and it reminded me of a cup that I got from my friend who's getting married this summer. Who's also a good friend, my friend Melissa. And this one is cool because it was a gift that had a candle inside of it, and then when the candle was used, it becomes a mug. Cute. And it reminds me of her. It's cute, and it has a real like gold-plated handle, which I didn't realize was gold-plated until I microwaved it.
Oh no!
I burnt myself very badly, so I cannot like reheat
inside of it,
in it. So I had to be careful how much you put in it because you can't ever reheat it in the microwave. But it's a really cool shape. Like it's not a circle. It's like this unique shape. It's like handmade. I just think it's really cool. And it was like a handmade candle inside. So
that's so cute.
Friendship today.
Wow.
Friendship.
And I guess we'll kind of continue that theme for our friendship as we begin to interview each other, get to know each other a bit more, and you listeners get to know us a bit more as well. We'll kind of scratch under the surface, maybe mine some hidden gems.
What did you say last time about like getting into our deepest, darkest secrets? Is that what we're doing today?
Our innermost secrets.
Oh, let's try not to do that. Oh, okay, keep going. It's good.
Yeah, and I guess since we know the questions we're going to ask each other, but we don't know the answers yet, we do have some vocabulary words that we are going to use in the questions. So you can listen for that. We've got fair game, softball question, and guilty pleasure. So you can write them down and see how we use them in this episode.
And we'll give you the definitions in the last episode of the season when we provide the crosswords so you can practice your new words.
Yes. So I guess if we've got 20 minutes on the clock, our 20 minutes start now.
All right. I feel like starting it. Are you ready to be in the hot seat?
I think so.
So even though I've known you for a while, I'm sure there's still a lot that I don't know about you. And this is how it's going to go down, dear listener. I'm going to ask Erin some questions that she doesn't expect. She has no idea what I'm going to ask her. Anything from the most mundane, like what's her favorite toothpaste brand, to the most profound, like her greatest fear. It's all fair game. But if we dish it, we have to eat it too. So I'm ready for any of the probing questions that Erin throws out to me. Ready is a big word. I'd say more like willing to receive anything that you send my way, okay? Are you ready, Erin?
All right, fire away.
All right, first, a softball question. Okay?
Okay.
What's your favorite thing about being an American living in Montreal?
Good question. To be honest, I grew up in a town where it's kind of, there's like a little bit of different cultures going around, but it's pretty one culture is the strong thing, and it's just like Southern culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas as soon as I came here to Montreal, I was just met with so many different languages, so many different cultures, so many different, even just like personalities and all this stuff. There's so many people, right? I moved from like a smaller town to a bigger town. And yes, there are even bigger towns out there than Montreal, but still, 1 million people on the island, 4 million outside of the island. That's a decent group.
People.
So
it's like more than half the population of the province all in one place.
Yeah, exactly. And coming to Montreal, I realized that I was like in the same boat as a lot of other students. I lived on campus during my first year of university, and so I was just able to talk to so many different people, make new friends, really just get out there. And I don't know, I was able to kind of like have a refresh, a restart almost. And I really like that. And now I just love how there's so many different cultures, but within the context of French.
Yeah.
Like
there's like an overarching French culture, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like my go-to language when I go to the supermarket or to a restaurant is French. But then I can be on the bus and hear Chinese. I can hear Mandarin on the streets, right? I can be on the bus and hear Arabic, right? So it's just really cool to have access to all of that.
Yeah, all in one place. Yeah. Within a culture that's a very multicultural city, which is so different than here in Quebec City, which is much more unicultural, monocultural. I mean, it's more and more multicultural, but it's new. And yeah. All right.
Okay.
It's your turn to ask me one. It's my turn to answer, yes.
Okay. Here's my question for you. Are you, Sarah, more of a work to live or live to work type of person? And why?
I'd say live to work, because work is my passion. Like, I love it. Like, I'm at an event with friends, like a dinner or whatever, and I just want to talk about work, because that's what interests me. That's where my projects are. That's where I'm creative. That's where, like, I'm on my X, as they say in French. I just come alive when I'm at work, because it's so... I created it, so, like, it resembles me. It's, like, made in my image in a certain sense. Like, I can see that the business has my personality to a sense. And so, like, of course, I just, like, am like a fish in clean, beautiful, wonderful water, because I've created this environment. I created something that works for me. So I'm definitely a live to work. Like, I just love it. I'm passionate about it. I have fun, but I also know when to stop. Like, I'm doing this in the long term. So, like, I never check my emails after 4:30. I never work after 4:30. I never work on the weekends. It's just, I'm an 8 to 4:30 person, and I take an hour for lunch religiously. I never, like, go overboard. So, like, I don't know. I try to keep that balance, you know?
Right. Honestly, balance is so... It's crucial, but it's also one of the most difficult things that I've found while being a freelancer, while being a business owner now that works from home. Is like trying to create that, yes, I'm working from home. And so right now, like, my work, like, currently I'm in my house, right? This is a place where I relax. This is a place where we have friends over, that kind of stuff. But then I need to, like, make this switch in my brain that, okay, I'm here for work right now. I'm in this workspace. And then once that clock hits, I have to be done with work and I have to be able to relax. I'm hoping that one day we can get I can get a nice office like you have, so that I have a specific workspace.
But that's pretty new. For years, I worked from my living room couch. So, like 10 years or more. And now I do have an office space and I love it. And I even, like, decorate it differently so that I really feel like I go through that door and I'm in a different world. Like, I'm in personal life instead of professional life.
Yeah.
All right. Your turn. Ready?
I think so.
Okay. Your turn to answer.
Yes.
All right. This is a big one. Are you ready for it? It's going to be a little bit much more of a hardball question.
All right. Hit me.
Are you ready? Oh, my word. I'm going hard. What is the most significant lesson you've learned from a past mistake? And how has it shaped who you are today?
Yeah. That is a really, really big one. Honestly, I think This is gonna kind of go really deep, really deep.
You can go ahead.
I think the past mistake that I made that has kind of continued to affect me up until the present is not having enough confidence in myself, that kind of like belittling my abilities, pushing down the things that made me who I am in a sense. And because of that, I'm still fighting to correct that, whether it's in my professional life, whether it's in my personal life, everywhere I go, I'm trying to rebuild this confidence in who I am and what I can do, and the gifts that I've been given, right? And yeah, I think that's really, really shaped who I am today. So that's why even when I'm meeting with clients, that's one of the biggest things that I work with them on is building up that confidence, instilling that confidence. I don't want to point things out that are going to make them feel self-conscious, make them lose confidence in themselves. And at the end of the day, I've realized that every single human on this earth has things that make them special, things that make them unique, and being able to highlight that, like, humans are able to do amazing things with the gifts and talents that they've been given. And so every person that I meet, I want to be able to bring those talents out, highlight those unique qualities instead of push them down. And we can be our worst critics, right?
Oh, we totally can. I've worked for years on the same in the same direction. Of course, it's never completely solved. I don't know if it's something that you get out of completely, of feeling insecure or not good enough. Though it's much less strong than it was. But I think it's only fair if I answer the same question. Just as because otherwise I'll feel really bad about my very deep
go ahead.
personal question. In the same vein, I think for me, it's like I really am afraid of disappointing people or displeasing people. So it's something I had to work on a lot. And one of the things that my therapist said to me that really helped, she's like, you came in the world bothering your mother more than you could ever bother anyone again in your life. Like, you've already done the worst thing you could possibly do to someone.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay, so I can bother, I can disappoint, I can just displease someone by my decisions, and it's okay. To err is human. Like, once I realized, like, to make a mistake is a definition of being human, that like freed me up to be like, it's okay to not have the perfect solution. I'm making a choice based on the information I have now. Maybe I'll regret it later, but it's not a big deal. Like, I have to make a decision and not be, because before I get really paralyzed making a decision. And then I'm like, there is no perfect solution. There is no perfect answer to this question that's complex. Like, do your best and then just live with the consequences. Just figure it out after that. Problem solving. Like, in problem solving mode, it's okay to make mistakes because you'll just deal with them and work through it later. And that's really been helpful to me.
Yeah, and honestly, I think surrounding yourself with people who are going to pull you up instead of tear you down is huge. Like, Sarah, since we met, I've seen so much growth in my life. Since my husband and I met, I've seen so much growth in my life, right? And so that's what we do. We're pulling each other up. We're not living our lives trying to tear people down. And so if you're surrounded with people who are tearing you down, you're not going to be able to grow. You know, you're going to develop this self-conscious strain, you know, that's constantly this little voice in your head. So
it's who you're surrounded by. Like, iron sharpeth iron, right?
Yeah.
So if you sharpen iron, if you're iron and you're sharpening iron, you can work together. You're going to make each other both better.
Yeah.
And so, like, you surround yourself with people who are also iron, you'll both benefit from the relationship.
Agreed. 100%. All right. I'm going to send you a question because I didn't ask you one.
Yet.
And this is gonna be lighter, a whole other kind of feel to it. So, Sarah, what's your go-to guilty pleasure song that you secretly love to jam out to?
Oh my goodness. Well, I am such a 90s girl. Like, give me some grunge or alternative rock, and I am in my element.
Oh.
So give me anything Nirvana. Of course, like, I am the stereotypical 90s grunge girl. Radiohead's Creep. Oh my goodness. Give me anything by Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. I am in heaven. I love Creep so much that I found like a playlist that is just covers of Creep of one song by the Radiohead, and I just listen to it over and over again of other people covering it.
Oh my gosh. With a playlist of covers of just one
song. Yes, I do. Like, I love it that much. And I love also Weezer's Say It Ain't So. And it's really weird because I can't figure out why it resonates with me, because it's pretty much about alcoholism, becoming an alcoholic like his father and stepfather, which is like not my situation whatsoever. But I don't know why it speaks to me so much, but I think it's just like, it makes you want to like jump up and like mosh. And another one I really love is The Freshman by Verve Pipe, because it's a little bit mysterious about the meaning. It's a little bit obscure. Okay. And I never could figure out what it was about. And I would like analyze it and do like song analysis. And that was always really interesting to me. I really love that song too. Maybe that's my favorite song.
Interesting.
What's your go-to? What's your guilty pleasure?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. Like, I never really listened to a lot of like my time music. There was always 60s music, 70s music playing in the house. So I love the Eagles. I love their songs.
You're like older than me in your soul. You have an old soul.
I know, I really do. I really do have an old
soul. You're 20 years younger than me, but you have taste 20 years older than me. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's true. And like, I even grew up watching old television shows like murder what is that one?
Murder, She Wrote?
Yeah, well, Murder, She Wrote, yeah, that's another one that I really like. Perry Mason is an old black and white lawyer show that I love. I used to sit and watch that with my grandfather when it came on. The reruns came on at 9 a.m. We would sit there and watch it together. Oh, man. Yeah. So instead of like music playing in my head, I have lines from movies and TV shows that are constantly living rent-free in my head. And I quote things all the time that nobody has any idea what I'm quoting. I'll like say something and I'll turn to my husband. I'll be like, so what movie is that from? And he just stares at me like this again.
But is there other people that get it? Like, that you can speak a special language with?
Some people. It depends. Like, I have a friend that lives not too far. Anything Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, even the show How I Met Your Mother.
I love that show.
I quote that all the time. And so
I can do that one with you.
Okay, great.
No, I can't really quote it. I just love it.
I was like, oh, that's just like what happened to Barney and blah, blah, blah. And then
what's it? The dairy? I'm trying to think of what that.
Legendary. Legendary. That one? Yeah, wait for it.
Dairy. Wait for it. Oh, my word.
Yeah, so I can quote that with her. And then my sister, she knows all the movies we watched when we were kids. So when I quote those ones, you know, she's got them.
Got a secret language.
Yeah.
No, I can't quote anything. But I did watch all of How I Met Your Mother one after the next in order. The whole entire, all the seasons.
Yeah, I've watched it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that's why you can quote it. I only did once, once through, but it was so good. It was so good. Like, I can still see the bear. I think it was what's his name? Marshall was in a bear costume for some reason in the shower, and then Lily comes into the bathroom, and he totally scares her to death. like as a bear. Do you remember that?
No.
Am I inventing this?
I actually do not remember that scene at all.
I don't know, but it was one of my favorites, so I have to go figure out where that came from. I'll show you later.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That's a great show to practice your listening comprehension.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Friends, How I Met Your Mother, those like sitcoms, totally great for
that.
Because they're short, they're funny, they're not complex.
Exactly.
It all ties up in a nice little bow, except it takes like all the seasons to tie up in a nice little bow How I Met Your Mother.
But that just means you have a lot of content to listen to and figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and each episode ties up nicely.
Exactly. I think, Sarah, we have enough time for maybe one more question each. So it's gone by super quick. If you want to ask your last question, and then I'll ask mine.
Okay. So language learning is a very humbling experience, as we both know. What is the most embarrassing mistake you've ever made in a language?
That is a good question. To be honest, I tried to forget my mistakes as soon as I make them. I just push them out of my head.
Good strategy. I like the strategy.
But I don't have any specific example, but there have been many times where somebody has asked me a question, said something, and I've just like nodded along, not knowing what they've said. Listeners, it is so much better just to say, could you please repeat that? I didn't get that question. Like, it's totally fine to do that. And it's better for your health and your sanity.
Yeah, you don't know what you're saying yes to. You might get yourself like jumping out of an airplane and you're like, how did I make it here?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do you have any weird or fun, like funny accidents that you made when speaking French?
There were many. And I can think of many stories, but like one that comes to mind, I was living in this little town outside of Quebec City called Pont Rouge, and I was hanging out with some families and we were having a picnic, and there were some boys there who were like 10, 11, whatever. They went out and they got a frog, of course, because they're 10, 11-year-old boys.
Mm-hmm.
They brought me the frog and they're like, do you want, what they said is flatte. But in my English mind, I thought they wanted to say flatten. Like, do you want to smash this frog? And I was like, and then it was they're like, no, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, they thought I was afraid to touch the frog, like I was a girly girl.
Means to pet, right?
To pet. So they wanted me to pet the frog, and I thought they wanted me to smash the frog. Totally different things. And it also made me look like I was freaked out to touch a frog, which I'm not. Like, I am really don't care. I don't mind touching frogs or catching frogs or anything. It's fine with me. But they were like, why won't you just touch the frog? I'm like, oh. No. To pat
not the reaction that you wanted to portray. I think I'm going to ask one last question because this one really touches on why we do what we do, like why verbatim, why language learning, all of that stuff. So what do you love most about coaching English learners, and what values kind of guide you through that experience?
Oh my, big question. I think the value is trust, like creating a safe place where we can make mistakes and be ourselves, be authentic. I think that's really important to me because if you don't have that trusting relationship, you get stuck on the perfectionism of a language and of being afraid to make a mistake and being afraid of these humbling experiences that happen. So I think for me, language coaching is really based on creating a relationship with the person in front of me, one-on-one, and just being like, we are humans. I am not a teacher. I am your coach who's going to help you, but we are equal humans. I think a lot of that is like this humanity. We are equals collaborating together on this journey.
Yeah, I love that. And just like creating a safe space to do all of that. Yeah, where we're not going to judge. We're not going to like laugh and point at you. Ha ha ha. You made this mistake because we make mistakes
too. Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. What values guide you in coaching?
I think for me, learning a new language means you have a new way to share your story and new people to share your story with and new stories to hear from them as well, right? Because I love stories, and I think that's what connects us and binds us as humans, is just sharing our stories with people around us. And so I like to see it as I'm giving them the tools that they need to share their stories with people around them, whether it's like business, sharing about their business, or sharing about how they got to this point, preparing for interviews or preparing for traveling, any of this stuff. It's all story based. And I think that's really what drives me in this language learning and language coaching.
Oh, I love it. Beautiful.
Well, all right. Yeah, I think that means it's time to go, Sarah.
Yeah. We flew right past that 20-minute mark whole almost 4 minutes ago. So here's your timer going off a little late.
All right. Well, I guess the last thing we want to say is just keep going with your 20 minutes a day. Write in the comments, tell us how you're filling up those 20 minutes, what's working for you, and you can just help somebody else out as well. Yep.
Yeah, and don't forget, we use some expressions like fair game, a softball question, guilty pleasure. Make sure you go back and listen again, see if you can hear how we use them in context. And first of all, Erin, though, I really want to say thank you for your questions. Thank you for your answers and just like the vulnerability. That was really nice.
Thank you, Sarah. It was nice being able to talk with you, and I'm glad we were able to share this with our listeners as well.
Yeah, and remember, rate, review, and tell a friend.
Yes. All right.
So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night.
Adieu, adieu to you, and you.
To you.
Oh, man.
Is that one of yours? It has to be one of your movies. That's so in your timeline.
Yeah, that's in my timeline. I can quote that one.
We'll get out Edelweiss next? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll save you listeners from that, of us singing Edelweiss.
All right. Until next time. See you guys.
Until next time. Bye.
Hi everyone, we'd love to hear about your language journey, so leave your comments on this episode or email us at 20minutsaday.verbatim@gmail.com. That's 20 minutes, 20 minutes a day, .verbatim@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you.